Sabrina. Welcome to Super Talk Show. It's great to have you with us today.
Hi, Heidi. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you. To start, can you give us an introduction about yourself as well as Boavista, which is the company that you started very recently?
Sure, I would love to. So my name is Sabrina. I'm the founder of Boavista, a company I started end of last year, around December. And Boavista is a lifestyle brand with women empowerment at its heart. So our motto, our core is women for women. And what that means for us is, on the one hand, creating awesome products for women to make them feel their best, so to say. So really living the women empowerment and giving women the tools to express them however they want, but also giving our company a social edge. And we chose, of course, a women cause because it's connected to our theme, so to say. And in our case, we found a local NGO here in Lisbon that is supporting vulnerable women, mostly women from immigrant countries, so to say, in getting their own source of income by teaching them handicraft skills, teaching them sewing, stitching, and all these kind of things that they eventually can turn into their own source of income by creating products out of the crafts they learned. And we support these guys in various ways. One of them is actually having them produce some of the accessories we sell on our web shop, which among other things we give for free to our customers as it's like a little goodie, so to say. And yeah, there are many other ways we collaborate, but this is one of the centerpiece, so to say. And yeah, maybe just to give a bit of a background, I'm 32 now, and prior to founding Boavista, I spent 6 years working for other people, starting my career very traditionally in consulting, which these days I can barely even imagine anymore. Spending some time working for a fintech, and eventually spending some time working for a very big, fast-growing e-commerce. And all these experience, despite being very, very different, really helped me in getting the skill set I thought I need to dare the step of founding my own company, which I did last year, and I'm super excited about this new chapter in my life.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. One thing I noticed in the very start is that it started last year, December, which is actually when Super Talk Show started.
Oh, wow.
So that's a similarity there. And also, I'm wondering about your previous experience, which you've mentioned. And for many of the super audience, especially high school students, we're also trying to start our own initiative, projects, NGOs. So what are some skill sets that you gained before that you think really helped you to create Boavista now?
Mm-hmm. Different things, and it always depends, of course, what you want to do. For me, if I think back to my experience, of course, working, let's say in like strategy consulting really helps you to build like a strategic mindset and to kind of understand what is the next thing that my company needs and what's the thing that my company needs in 1 year from now and 2 years from now. And it helps you to be a bit more strategic about the things you do and not just go from one day to the other, which I think is a quite nice tool, so to say. But of course, diving into e-commerce, if you want to do e-commerce yourself, is amazing. E-commerce is its very own universe. It's super, super exciting. It has its own dynamic, and it's something you can grasp super quickly. So either you can teach it yourself. I'm 100% pro teaching stuff yourself, and e-commerce is definitely something you can teach yourself, but you might as well like work on e-commerce for like half a year or a year and really grasp the concept and then jump into the cold water yourself.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain what e-commerce is? Is it kind of like
Sure.
Or is it eco-friendly? What does e-commerce?
So e-commerce is basically all kind of commerce which is not brick and mortar. So whenever you buy something on the internet, this is e-commerce. So basically, I guess E then stands for electronic, something like this. So basically, it's the meta term for selling stuff on the internet without necessarily having a brick and mortar store.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So speaking of selling on the internet, you definitely built this really great website, which is super easy to navigate around, and it's very visual, everything like that. How did you start? Do you have coding experience, or was it kind of like Wix with your own domain? Yeah.
It's a very good question. No, I built it with Shopify, which I would also highly recommend to anyone who wants to build their own web shop and doesn't have any coding experience, but also wants to do it in a very fast and user-friendly way. Shopify is your way to go. And I'm not getting paid to say that. But Shopify is basically kind of a drag and drop modular system, which lets you really put the elements you need where you need them and modify them quite easily. So Shopify is something that I believe everyone who knows how to navigate the internet can use to build their own web shop. And then in the end, as you also said, I wanted to keep it simple, not only because I'm a very, very young company, but also because I know from, let's say, a pure user experience, it's always nicer to have, like, let's say, a more of a clean web shop where you know exactly where to find what and not overloaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of being very clean, on the website when I first navigated, because I received your message from Instagram, that's how we got to know each other. And then I clicked on the website. My first impression was go to About Us. And that was the most interesting website throughout my entire life that I've seen, because for the About Us section, you talked about how both you and your dog kind of imagined this concept of helping women. And that's a really interesting way to start the company. So can you talk to us about your inspiration in starting Boavista?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I've worked for 6 years for different companies, and I could always feel very, very clearly that this is not what makes me happy and this is not what fulfills me for various reasons. But I always knew this is not what I want to do with my life, because I felt, A, it's lacking a purpose, which for me is quite hard to digest. And B, I don't enjoy being told what to do, because you will always be told to do certain things you just don't think make any sense. And in the end, we want to use our precious time to do things that do make sense. And if you want to achieve that, I think the only way to go is founding your own company. So with these two presets, so to say, founding my own company was kind of the logical thing to do. And then again, since I really wanted to have something with a purpose, something I'm really proud of, something I love telling people about, and I love inspiring other people to maybe go a similar path, I decided to not give it only a sustainable edge, which for me was like a no-brainer. No matter what I wanted to do, I knew it has to have the most sustainable approach possible, because otherwise it would not be aligned with my values. And that's a recommendation I would give to everyone. Never do anything that's not aligned with your values, because it will not make you happy. It's a guarantee for being unhappy, I would say. So having something that's sustainable was a no-brainer. That's something we incorporate also into the heart of Boavista. But then this felt like it's not enough. I was like, okay, that's cool, but that's hygiene. This is something I would have done anyway with any product. There's something missing. You know, sometimes when you just can't really pinpoint it, but you're like, there's something missing. And I was like, yeah, boom. At one point I realized what it's missing is this higher purpose I'm always talk about, I'm inspired about. And for my specific company, I chose women empowerment because it's a topic that's very close to my heart as well. And then it just evolved naturally. Once you have an idea, bringing your idea to life is, in my experience, often not as hard as finding the idea or getting the idea. And that's how, in the end, an entire concept came to life, of having a super sustainable, ethical brand that really focuses on minimizing its impact on the environment, but also not only doesn't do bad, but actually does good by giving back to women who are less fortunate than, to be fair, most of my customers and myself.
Yeah, I think now that you really explained everything about your company, I feel like it really touches every aspect of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, from gender equality to sustainable climate action, everything like that. I've also looked through the website, and it seems like already a lot of people purchase products from there, and there's been a lot of comments. How does, your work building the website, building the company, reaching out to NGOs, how does that pay off in the end? How do you feel when you see all these good comments about the quality of the stuff? And yeah.
It's amazing. It's honestly, there is nothing that's more rewarding than seeing your the fruits of your own work, and that's really in the end what keeps you going every single day. Because also the reality of founding a company, especially in the first year or so, is that it's like very, very hard work, and it's very manual work, and it requires you to be outside of your comfort zone basically the entire time. And so if you don't get this reward out of that, you feel like it's not worth the pain, so to say. So for me, like having somebody like a customer telling me she loves my product, she loves how it looks on her, she loves how it makes her feel, touches my heart, really. This is what makes my day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. That sounds really good. And I want to ask, oh my gosh, I'm running out of questions. You touched everything with your answer. Yeah, I think I was gonna ask one thing about what you see as Boavista's future. Like, are you thinking of creating actually a physical store in Portugal, or, what's next?
Yeah. So what's my strategy, so to say, coming back to one of our first points. So with Boavista, my plan is to make it not necessarily just a fashion brand, but rather a lifestyle brand. So I have a bit more of a broader concept, meaning, to anticipate your next question, I don't just want to sell fashion. I want to basically sell whatever I believe is a nice product that has like a very nice story behind it in the shop, always with the purpose of generating money to help also other people. So expect to also see other products on my web shop. I recently came across a very talented female artist here in Portugal that does amazing like ceramics herself in a super cool style. And she, for example, is also somebody I find super inspiring. So who knows, maybe we're gonna collaborate and bring out a joint jewelry collection. So you never know. I want to keep this very, very open. I have a bunch of other fashion pieces in mind I'm going to launch in the course of the next year, all along the same principles as the pants, 100% tencel for this really nice, softy, silky feel, all with the take back program, meaning if you should you ever for any reason stop loving your Boavista product, send it back to me for free and I will give it a second life, just to make sure none of my products ever lands on a landfill, because that's just not what I want.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, regarding where I want to sell it, because you also touched upon brick and mortar stores, I think opening my own store is not necessarily the immediate next steps. It's something to maybe keep in mind for later. But I started to reach out to nice concept stores and boutique stores that focus on young, small brands that have a very strong, let's say, purpose or sustainability approach. And I want to start collaborating with many of these small independent shops, because in the end, they're also a small business, and it's always nice as a small business to support other small businesses. So that's kind of where we're heading, let's say in the next year, and then let's see.
Mm-hmm. When you answered the question, it just reminded me of something. Like your entire company, is it like a one-person thing where you've been, the designer, the outreach person, the boss, the CEO, everything? That would be crazy for me to think about. Like, wow.
Not 100% just me. Let's say I'm the only person working 100% on it. I'm the only full-time person in this company. I have my dog who pays a lot of company. But I do have a designer, for example. Like I have a bunch of freelancers that help me out on various topics. And this is also something I would definitely recommend to other aspiring entrepreneurs. If you don't want to go for something, let's say, that attracts a lot of investor money right away, so you could basically build a huge team from day one. If you don't want to do this, but rather do it the way I do it, more grassroots, so to say, and build it yourself in a slower pace, but more independent, of course, because you don't have an investor who tries to tell you what to do. It definitely makes sense to find the right set of freelancers to support you, because as you will notice at one point, there's just too much to do for one person. And in the end, you also need to be true to yourself. Like what are the things you know how to do, or you could do kind of well, and what are the things you just really suck at and you also don't enjoy at all. It might be worthwhile giving that to somebody who's way better at that, even if it costs you a couple of euros. But that's for me a way of just being pragmatic with my own resources, because as also something I learned as an entrepreneur, you need to be very, very aware and careful of your own resources, because in the end, you don't want to find yourself working 24/7. Nobody should work that much. You need your downtimes, you need work-life balance. And in order to manage that properly, you need to identify the areas where you really need help, and then you shouldn't shy away from asking for help. That's just the most human thing. And in my experience, it's actually brave to be able to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And you would be surprised how many friends just start helping you completely like without prompting them. They're like, hey, I can actually do that. I can arrange a photo shoot for you if you want. I can model for you if you want. So no biggie. I actually know someone who knows this and this. So if people find what you're doing inspiring, they automatically try to get involved and try to be as helpful as possible. So there are hundreds of, let's say, faces behind Boavista that gave a little bit of input here and there. And that's very beautiful, because that makes it more of a communal project, so to say.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for this interview. It's been super inspiring. Personally, for me, I've been trying to start an initiative called United Youth, which is also about helping other people, especially Ukrainian refugees, to integrate linguistically into the local community. And I think
that is amazing.
Yeah, definitely this interview with you talking about gender equality, it really helped me personally to understand how to start my own initiative as well. And yeah. Oh, by the way, to the super audience, the link to the website of Boavista is right below in the description. So make sure you check it out and get some inspiration from there, and hopefully purchase something there. Yeah, thank you so much, Sabrina.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Let me know if I can ever help you with anything.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.